Marcellus Shale deposits that exist in a large portion of Pennsylvania have been the catalyst for a booming natural gas industry. And here to discuss the possibility of leveraging that success into a solution for our state's pension problem is State Representative Kate Harper. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. And I understand you do have a plan to enact what's called a severance tax on the industry. Can you describe what that plan would do?
First, let's talk about the problem. The problem is we have higher and higher pension costs as the baby boomers retire and live longer in the state workforce, but more importantly, among teachers. And we have thousands and thousands of people who are counting on us to be able to pay pension checks that they have earned. And we don't have enough money. And what that does is that causes real estate taxes at the local level to go up and state taxes statewide to go up in order to meet those costs. So I was thinking that we could probably enact a modest severance tax on the Marcellus Shale natural gas production and use that money to pay off the pension shortages. And my idea of a modest severance tax would be to leave the local impact fee in place, which is doing good things in the communities where the drilling is occurring, and statewide and environmental programs, and add a small severance tax on top, maybe 2.5%, so that we were competitive with our nearest states that also allow fracking and have the natural gas. I'm thinking of West Virginia. If the total bill comes in somewhere in the neighborhood of 5%, that would keep us competitive with those other states.
And then why is it important to keep that impact fee in place as opposed to getting rid of that and then maybe doing a higher severance tax?
Well, Montgomery County, for example, has no wells at all, no fracking at all. And yet we get about $1 million a year from the impact fee. Now, most of the money goes to the communities that are impacted by the fracking. And they need that money to build new bridges so the trucks carrying water and other things can get over them and stuff like that. So they have come to depend on that as they upgrade their infrastructure to meet this new industry. But it also goes statewide to programs we all like Growing Greener, the Environmental Stewardship Fund, Hazardous Sites Cleanup Fund. So I think it's important to keep funding those programs while we are in the midst of a pretty heavy industry in natural gas. So I think it's important to keep the impact fee in place, and then if we can get more money from that, to be very modest about what a severance tax would look like.
Opponents to this idea would say this is going to drive the industry out of the state. How would you counter that argument?
I understand that, and I am not trying to drive the industry out of the state. People have said Pennsylvania is the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. I certainly think it's important for America's energy independence, for us to have the natural gas industry, and it's important for Pennsylvania's economy. I get that. I'm not interested in driving them out, but what I do think is they can pay a little more, we're still competitive, and we're not going to be in a place where they say, that does it, I'm moving to a cheaper state.
There's other proposals out there that have some similarities. I believe Governor Wolf had one as well. He was looking at...
It's not similar.
I was going to say, can you outline those differences?
Right. Governor Wolf is adding the severance tax on top of the impact fee. First, he's asking for a much higher tax. And secondly, he's not promising to leave the money that the impact fee is generating where it's going right now. He's not promising to let the local communities keep their money, and he's not promising to put the money into environmental programs. So my plan is very different from the governor's plan, and I would not support the governor's plan.
We just have about a minute left. What's your prediction for the chance that some type of severance tax would be enacted this year?
Well, I think it depends a little bit on the economy, and I think it also depends on the industry itself. Right now, the OPEC nations, believe it or not, are competing very heavily by driving the prices of oil down, trying to put our natural gas producers out of business. I think we have to withstand that, and it may not be the right time to enact a severance tax. I think that we have to keep an eye on that and watch the economic situation worldwide.
Well, thank you so much for explaining your bill and your idea.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. And that's all the time we have. If you have comments or questions about this or any other legislative topic, Representative Harper's information will be shown in just a few moments. I'm Laurie Bull. Thanks for spending a few minutes with State Representative Kate Harper.